What's up with it? Right before the deck profile, I just want to let you know if you didn't want to watch the full thing, in the description there's going to be a timestamp that will tell you that you can skip to the end and you can just see the full-blown image of the deck. Also in the description, there will be my matchups and win-loss, if I won the die roll, all that stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
What's up with it? I'm Elijah Quinby. A couple nights before the Treasure Cup on the 21st, I went 24-1 in online ranked games on OP Bounty, ending the night rank 1. Decided I felt pretty good about the deck list and decided to take it to the Treasure Cup this weekend, where I ended 9-1, finishing top 8. Decided to play Blue Doflamingo. First, you have these 16 cards that are non-negotiable. If you just see these 16 cards, you can win any game versus any deck. They're the heart and the soul of the deck. You can never negotiate playing any less of those. 4 Weevil, 4 Law, 4 Boa, 4 Jinbei. Next, you have 4 Sengoku, 4 Perona. Perona is the best card going first. Sengoku is the best card going second. The thing about these cards, some people have tried cutting these. Like at Dallas, I only played 3 Sengoku. I know there are people who play less Perona or no Perona. These cards just help you see these cards. And if you see these cards, you win. So I think for sure playing any less of either of these is complete bait. Like, you want to maximize consistency. It's one of the things that Dofi has over every other deck. Some of these other decks have really high highs, but they don't have the same consistency. You know, your opponents are gonna get upset when you see multiple Jinbeis in a game, but when you play 8 cards that get you there, you're gonna see that a lot. These are all cards I would consider mandatory. You have to play them. The next slots are a little bit more flexible. I'm on 3 Teach. I've played 4. I played 4 at San Diego. I've played 2 before. I think maybe I played 2 at Dallas, or maybe I played 3. I don't remember. I like 3. I can see an argument for 4. It's really strong in the mirror. Obviously, it's strong versus Blackbeard because it's an activate main. And it's a small body, and you need those versus Blackbeard. However, it's pretty weak into most Shanks builds right now because they played Red Hawk. So I really don't want to see this in my starter hand versus Shanks specifically, because between Red Hawk and Marco, they get rid of it really easily. It could be a 4 of for sure, but I was happy with it at 3. Next, I play 10 2Ks. Some people play more than this. Some people play 12. I've seen lists that did well that played 14, 15. Me personally, I feel like 2Ks really only feel super important in the mirror. And also, I feel like my worst hands are the ones where I just have so many 2Ks. Like, I have all these 2Ks and there's nothing I can do other than play 2Ks. I played the 4 Mihawk and the 4 Buggy. In 09, Buggy is for sure the best one, just because you need it for Blackbeard. You want as many 1-drops as possible. Also, it helps boost consistency. The Mihawk is just a nice filter, especially since I play a few more bricks than some lists. And then 2 Law. These could be Crocs. I also want to try them being Kaya's. I've been thinking about Kaya for a while. I just haven't tested it, but I think Kaya could be good. Then these are like kind of even the real flex spots, the non-engine. 3 Pudding. I like this card at 3. I've played 4 before. I like 4 too, but it's just hard to find space for the 4th one. I probably wouldn't play any less than 4 of this. I played 3 Gecko Moira. I've played 0 of this. I've played 4 of this. I think it just really depends on how much space you want to make for the tech cards. At the end of 8.5, I was playing less of this to make more space for some other non-engine things, but this card is super strong. It's super duper duper strong. You'd really prefer to play as many of it as you can, especially with Teach, like a situation that comes up all the time. is you go like Teach on 3, play Weevil. And then on 4, your opponent gets rid of it. Like a lot of decks like Shanks or Lucci, they'll jam 9 into the Weevil. And if you have this in hand, you're like, okay, cool. Play Gecko, Gecko grab Weevil, Teach effect, play the Weevil. And now, so they just spent their whole 4-on turn. They haven't done really anything to progress the game state at all. And you've gone +1 off the Weevil, +1 off the Gecko, +1 off the Weevil, and you've swung 7 2 times. So like at that point, you've made so much progress over the course of the game, and they effectively haven't done anything. That's something that comes up a lot with this card, I find. Also, it grabs back Jinbei, and Jinbei is the best card. Played 3 Jozu. I just think this helps out some problematic things. 5-cost Carrot, Cavendish, some of the 5-drops in Purple Luffy, Marco, Silver's Rayleigh, and it being a 6/7 just makes it a lot stickier. Bouncing your 1-drops is always good. It's just a strong card. 3 Gravity Blade. This is something that some people have been cutting for 09. I could see a world where you cut it, but I think the trigger is so good, and I'm currently of the opinion that every matchup besides exactly the Mirror and BY are pretty easy. Like you should be favored in all of them, and if you just play well, your deck is going to be more consistent than their deck, so you're going to win more often than not. And this can be a huge blowout into the Mirror, and obviously it's strong versus BY. And it just helps versus problematic things. There's times where it helps you go for game where your opponent establishes double blocker, and you do this if you don't have the Femur, which is the last card. I've seen some people play 2 of this. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with this card. It did win me a couple games, so I'm glad it was in the list. But I play so many games. Like, I play, hundreds of games, and there's just so many games where you draw this early in the game, and it's just dead in your hand, and it feels awful. So maybe, like, the Kaya will help with that. I'm not sure, but I think you need to play at least 1. I've seen some people play 2. I'm not sure I can get behind that necessarily, but maybe. And that is the list. Feel really good about it. Nothing I would really consider changing too much other than the Kayas. Maybe finding space for the Kayas. Feel really good about getting top 8 at the Treasure Cup. I should have honestly gone 10-0. I lost round 6 to the Mirror, where on his 7-Dawn turn, he has a Standing Boa and a Arrested Law, and he like swings at me for 7 with Leader, and I ask him how many cards in hand, and he tells me 8, and at that point I know what I'm going to do is on my 8-Dawn turn, I'm going to go Jinbei, Law, bounce itself, and then putting him for 9 cards, and then I'm going to swing into his Law 3 times, 3 5s. So at that point, he either ends up with no board or no hand, and we'll both be at 3 life, and I'll have 9 cards still in my hand, and I'll have 4 bodies. And at that point, the game would just be over. But he said 8, and then since it's a cam tournament, I try to like really look at my cards like this, and I misclicked and put the pudding in trash when I countered. And I didn't even realize it till halfway through my turn, where I go Jinbei Law, and I bounce, and then I look at my hand to find the pudding to play it, and then I'm like, wait, where's the pudding? And then I look at my trash, and it's there, and I'm like, oh my god, I misclicked so hard. And my opponent was like, yeah, I thought it was super weird that you asked me cards in hand, and I told you this big number, and then you pitched the pudding. So that was a bummer. That game was still winnable, honestly. I maybe made a misplay at some point. I'm not sure. It was kind of hard for me to bounce back. I kind of like beat myself up a little bit after that, but I think it was still winnable. It was still super close at the end. It came down to if he had Femur in hand. He had like a 5-drop or a 5K body, a Teach, and Leader. And and he could go 9-11 or he could go 9-13 if he had the femur. I took the 9 at 1 life, and then he had the femur, so he was able to go 13. And I needed my life to be a 2K to counter out of the 13, and it just wasn't. So that was my one loss. I played 3 mirror matches. I played 3 Shanks, 3 Purple Luffy, and 1 Anel. Yeah, 1 Anel in round 7 after my loss versus the Dofi, and I was like, oh man, I might just be cooked. But managed to win most of those. Tournament was great, ran smoothly, and thank you so much for watching.